My name's Hugh. This is my old friend Will, and we run a restaurant called Hawksmoor. Here at Hawksmoor, we focus on serving really good quality British meat. My grandparents were butchers, and I grew up eating really good quality meat, and we've been friends since we were about 11. And then later on in life, we just found it really difficult to find the kind of meat that we'd eaten when we were younger. So we hunted for it far and wide, and when we found the best British beef we could, we decided to base a restaurant around it. Hawksmoor at Home is a collection of recipes that we use at the restaurant, and also a few things in a similar vein that we like cooking at home. We've got a range of recipes in there, including how to cook the perfect steak, guides on cooking the perfect chips at home, and a range of seafood and old-fashioned British puddings.
Both of us have slightly different interests. Hugh spends most of his time kind of flicking through 1638 recipe books, or has a kind of bizarrely large collection of those kind of things at home. And I'm really interested in kind of food history and you know, the origins of where things like brunch, for example, started. So kind of peppered throughout the book are a whole kind of range of bizarre, quirky stories based around meat or kind of the history of food, which I think kind of just make it a little bit different from a standard recipe book.
Well, one great thing about doing this book actually is finding out how many of the things that we thought were American were actually British. So like brunch, like the cocktail, which has its origins in 17th century London.
Like the steakhouse.
Like the steakhouse, absolutely. So we found out that the first ever steakhouse was just around the corner from our Guildhall site in the city. It was a place called Dolly's. So it's been great finding out how much of what we do is British.
I think more than anything, it ought to be a book, really, and we set out for it to be something that you could read and enjoy. You know, we've got a lot of recipe books, and Hugh actually does read recipe books like they were books. But I find that difficult. I can't just read them. I dip into them and use them. But the Hawksmoor book is intended to be able to do that, but also for you to kind of pick up and flick pages in an armchair. So I hope people enjoy reading it as well.